Today's topic is why anxious men are pretty drawn to avoidant women, all right? You guys are going to see me looking away because I have my little notes that I took. So just know I'm not ignoring you or whatever. I kind of structured a little bit so I stay on track. I'm a little bit of a squirrel brain sometimes, so sometimes I get off topic. So it's also an opportunity if you have questions. I decided to do this because this is actually a main issue I'm seeing that people keep messaging me about, or the clients I work with this anxious attachment style. And I've seen this pattern where they typically tend to go to the avoidant woman. That's also another big issue I'm seeing with the dating world and relationships and all that shit. So, with the anxious attachment, there's always, what I always will attack is the deeper rooted stuff. All right. I don't really do any superficial stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, just breathe it out or just take medication or whatever. I'm more focused on why is that happening and why are you operating out of that attachment. Okay. And those labels, I don't really buy into them, but it's just the language that everyone seems to understand. Because at the end of it, it's all deep rooted shit. It doesn't matter, anxious, avoidant, whatever. It's all deeper rooted inner child trauma. At the end of it, that might turn a lot of you off, and I get that, and this won't be for you. So, with anxious men, this is what you guys are typically feeling. You're feeling confused. It's usually like an obsession pattern, right? You're constantly checking your phone. You're overthinking. Lots and lots of thinking and anxiety going on up here. And it usually stems from a rejection wound that you men have dealt with, typically from parents. Whether you didn't get enough love from mom or dad or both. But that's usually where it stems from. And then what it shows up in is you typically lack masculine leadership skills. Now, everything I say is meant with love. I know some of you won't be able to handle the direct communication, and that's okay. I totally get it. It's not for everyone, and it's always hard to hear the truth, right? The truth fucking hurts, and I get it. And what happens is because of this deeper rooted wound, you guys have this nervous system addiction. You're addicted to the chaos. You're addicted to that push and pull that those avoidant women give you. And that's just how it works, right? Give me the raw truth. It's a human said. You got it. Bring the pain, Sabrina. Oh, I will. And then what you guys will, also a pattern I notice is you guys have this false belief that chemistry means compatibility. But it's really just an addiction, right? It's a chemical addiction to it, that cycle. So this is going to go a little deeper. So why you keep chasing women who can't love you back, right? If you have the anxious attachment wound, you are more likely operating out of the abandonment, right? Whether you didn't get the love from your parents, like I mentioned earlier, that tends to give you a deeper abandonment wound. I'm just going to point out, I also have this, all right? So I'm not saying this from a place of like, I'm better than you. I've just really put in the work to get through that abandonment issue. My father died at 2 months. So right away when I came onto earth out of my mom's womb, my dad died at 2 months. So I've had that wound since I was born, and it's a deep one, and it still shows up. I just have the tools to handle it in the moment, and it doesn't overtake me, right? Those are the key things that happens. You have to start to be aware of when it's coming up and how to handle it, right? And if you're not aware of it, then it's just a cycle that you're stuck in, which is why a lot of you will message me and be like, I keep finding this, and this keeps happening. Like every woman I attract like is avoidant, right? And that's because you can only attract what you are vibrating at. Now, I don't talk about this in my posts enough, frequency, but I work with energy and frequency, right? So you guys know the law of attraction, all that shit. This is science. This isn't some woo-woo spiritual crap, right? So if you are vibrating in this lower vibration of like fear, shame, guilt, anxiety, whatnot, you are actually only able to attract the same level type of woman that will only confirm that wound, if that makes sense. Because someone give me a thumbs up that makes sense, or is this too deep? I'm going to just go deep. Doesn't matter. So what happens with you men is a lot of you think that you're in love, but you're really not. It's that your nervous system is just so activated given the pattern that you are so used to. And you would, so someone said, avoidant women check their Instagram and you would notice their following count goes up and down so you know who they're talking to. It's a list of passive hers. Yeah, okay, cool. So if you keep getting obsessed with women who are those like hot and cold, push and pull, emotionally unavailable, or keep pulling away, this live is for you. Oh, thumbs up. Thank you. Got it. So what you call the chemistry might actually be your attachment wound getting triggered. And today I'm going to break down why anxious men get addicted to avoidant women and why it feels so intense and why that pattern will keep wrecking that peace inside of you until you deal with the root. So this usually, like I said, looks like you're overthinking. Usually like you're overthinking her text or what she said, or maybe you keep checking your phone constantly, like she didn't respond, and you're kind of just like sitting by waiting for her. And you feel this high when she gives you attention. It's like a drug, right? Someone give me a thumbs up if they relate to that. So you typically will tell yourself, like, I really like her, but if I'm being honest, a lot of you are not actually experiencing love. You're experiencing what I call emotional dependency. I'm eating you up right now, I'm sorry, but hopefully it's helpful. So what happens is you get addicted to that uncertainty, right? It's like it's a drug. And she feels exciting because she's unpredictable, right? Those avoidant women are very unpredictable, and that's where that addiction comes in. And the inconsistency that she creates gives you that obsession, right? And then the chase makes you feel alive. And that's just this pattern that you keep dealing with. And then you mistake that anxiety that you feel for love. Very, very, very common patterns I see. So that when you feel peace with a woman, it feels boring to you. I personally know that was me. Like I've met so many good men in the past, and they were just, I would say like, man, he's fucking boring. But it's because he was just a lot more regulated, and I was so deep rooted in my abandonment wound that I needed more chaos. So I get it. And it's because my nervous system is used to I grew up in a very chaotic home. You know, I mentioned my dad died at 2 months. My mom was very emotionally unavailable. I was, physically beat a lot and like punished and yelled at, and just like always, always, always being punished for however I showed up. And I only got love if I performed. So I grew up in a more masculine energy home, and I operated out of my masculine for so long, even though I'm like super fucking feminine, but I was never praised for my feminine with my mom because she actually can't emotionally show up for me. So my emotions were not appreciated. They were like I would get hit if I cried. I would be told like, stop crying, it's weak. So I was really treated like, my mom did the best she could though. Just remember, your parents did the best they could. So this isn't like a victim place. And same for you. Yeah. So what happens is we kind of, sometimes when you choose to do this deeper work, you start to be like, my parents fucked up, blah, blah, blah. Your parents did fuck up, and they still did the best they could with what they had. Usually generations just repeat patterns. It's just how it goes. So just know that I've been through that and I get it. And there is a way out once you choose to go down that path. It's not for everyone though. So an anxious man, here is the list that I made. You fear abandonment. You want reassurance constantly. You overanalyze everything. You chase that closeness, and you always feel like not enough, right? Abandonment wound will always, always operate of not feeling like you're enough. An avoidant woman, here's a nice short list of how she shows up. She always wants space. She pulls back when things get real, or like when you're like, oh, we're actually get connecting. And then like all of a sudden she's like, peace the fuck out, right? She struggles with like that deep emotional consistency. She's very hot and cold, and she creates a lot of confusion for you. Yeah, and that's where that overthinking happens. It's like, well, wait a minute. She said this, but now she's acting this way. So it's very inconsistent of her. So The anxious man chases, the avoidant woman pulls away and creates distance. That's the pattern. And the more you chase, the more she pulls away. I know a lot of you have experienced this because you messaged me about it. And the more she pulls, the more obsessed you become. Can I get a thumbs up if this is correct for some of you who have dealt with this? This dynamic really, it doesn't just hurt, but what happens is not only does it hurt because she pulls away, and then they say opposites attract, what a lie. I know, right? She pulls away, but then it hurts because it touches that exact wound you already had. A lot of men in this pattern already feel unseen, not chosen, not enough, or like they have to earn that love. Thanks for the thumbs up. Got it. So when an avoidant woman gives you like that small bit of affection or attention or validation, it like feels like this relief, right? As it too relatable, someone said, I hear you. And then they're not just like, now they're not chasing her. What happens is they're chasing the feeling of finally being enough. Does that make sense? You see the difference there? So it's not that you're just chasing her personally, because a lot of the things that I've seen with the men I've worked with this is it ends up that they don't even actually, it's not even about her. It's about the feeling that she provided. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, somebody. Yes, no, maybe so. And you don't just chase unavailable women because they're high value. You chase them because they match that wound, right? I keep saying that because I want you to understand that. This pattern isn't just gonna ruin your dating life. It drains your fucking energy, all right? Anxious attached men are usually very low energy, distracted in their focus. You know, they're just like not living up to their potential, best way to say it. It affects everything, your business, your sleep, your confidence, your peace, kind of like everywhere, all areas of your life, right? And so some of you are losing your masculine edge over women who were never emotionally available enough to even build that in the first place, right? So you're just stuck in that cycle with them. And I put a little thing, other costs, right? Emotional exhaustion, I said, loss of self-respect, constant overthinking, the weak boundaries, performing instead of leading, like that masculine leadership I talk about in my posts. And then you're choosing intensity over stability. And that's a big one. So you are actually not able to lead powerfully in life when one inconsistent woman can control your whole nervous system, right? You get fucking derailed because of how one woman showed up. And that's really a tough place, especially for men to be. So I want to point out too, because a lot of people think, well, like, I don't want to be an asshole. Well, honestly, you kind of have to be an asshole sometimes. And my definition of an asshole is probably not what you're thinking I'm communicating, but maybe one day I'll choose to clear that up. But healing that pattern doesn't mean that you become cold and you start doing the same shit the avoidant woman does, right? What it means to heal that anxious attachment pattern is to become regulated. I don't know if you guys understand that lingo, but it seems like that's a very common term that people seem to understand. And it's really learning to stop romanticizing inconsistency that you're experiencing with this and start respecting peace, right? A lot of you are going to be, let's say you attract a woman that's not an avoidant and she's a little more high value and healthy. The common thing I hear is that they're fucking boring, right? You mistaken that for boring because you're so used to the chaos. Make sense? So here's 3 simple steps I'm going to give you because I'm only staying on till 7 is 1, notice when you get activated, right? You'll know your body talks like heart's racing, overthinking, can't focus, all the things I just listed. I want you to start noticing that. That's step 1. Pay attention to who triggers that obsession in you. That's data, right? It's kind of like consider yourself you're a scientist in your own laboratory. So you start to track like your own data of what's going on. Step 2, stop calling that anxiety chemistry. It's not chemistry. Just because it feels intense doesn't mean that it's right? It's not a regulated place to be. And step 3 is the biggest piece I see that really makes the biggest change, is building internal safety. This is something I get a lot, is confusion of external versus internal safety. And there's a big difference, right? A man who can provide financially, buy all the things, take her out, whatever, buy her nice things, take her on trips, or if he's like strong and he can protect her from being killed, that's one aspect of safety. The internal safety for a woman is really making her feel emotionally safe and all that, but you're not able to do that if you can't do that within yourself first. So internal safety would be more not needing validation from the outside world, where you're so confident and grounded in who the fuck you are. It doesn't matter what happens outside, if that makes sense. Was that clear? Yes, no, someone give me a like, thumbs up, something. So, because like if you, for example, if you need her to text you back just to feel okay, then you're not in your power or in that internal groundedness or safety. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes hella sense. Thank you. Thumbs up. Got it. So, I'm probably going to close it up. Thank you. Thumbs up, guys. Holla. You get it. Yeah. I know. So I want to give a little bit of time for questions. Does anyone have a question for me? Let me just go through. Now's your chance. You get a free moment here to ask any questions you have. I'll give it a minute, let you guys think. Or maybe I covered enough for you to see what's actually going on and understand this anxious attachment wound that you're operating from. What are some easy self-regulation steps? Yeah, good question. So for me, I see a lot of success. You're pretty spot on. Thank you. So one thing you can do is, I know it's probably going to sound like cliche, but breathing really helps, right? When you start to feel that obsession or that overthinking, when you are breathing, and I'm talking like slow, deep breaths, you cannot actually be anxious or fearful when you're just like trying to breathe and calm it down, right? So you have to really learn. Does an anxious man, when he could totally heal, be a secure man? Absolutely. This isn't a permanent think of it as like you're at the doctor's office right now with me. This isn't a permanent diagnosis where it's like cancer and you're going to die. No, this is very fixable, but it takes work on your end. I can't do that for you. It really depends how committed you are. Sorry, I got sidetracked, but it's a human. I'm going to respond. So I would say breathing, right? Catching it in the moment. So that way, you know, I can feel myself getting activated. Let me calm that shit down before I start to spiral down a black hole. Because that's what happens when that gets triggered in you. That's 1. 2, I would really highly recommend some journaling. This is really I think, looked at. But there is something that happens when you have to physically, don't do the iPad or typing. It's not the same. You take a pen or pencil. I'm a pencil fan, so I'm old school. You take a pencil and a piece of paper, journal, get yourself a journal where you want to feel safe. The big thing with journaling is some people hesitate because they're like, well, what if someone reads it? Well, then don't let someone read it. Figure it out. Get a lock. I don't know. But journaling is a way to release what's going on in the mind. So when you find yourself overthinking and whatnot, just let it out. And it could be anything like, I feel anxious. She did it again. It doesn't have to be anything deep. Just let it out. That would be my top 2 recommendations as like an easy external solution, right? Obviously there's deeper work, but that's a journey you have to be willing to take. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of pointer. I know they're super simple, but they're effective. Go to the gym. Yeah, you could work out and release. These are all kind of temporary fixes. I will just admit that, because the more permanent, right, to get rid of the diagnosis of anxious attachment, the real solution is to go deeper into the deeper rooted stuff. I'm gonna deny that request. Just ask your question here, because I'm gonna hop off very soon, And I have a few more things I want to discuss, so just type it out for me. And someone else said, now I'm second guessing everything and thinking I made a mistake taking her back or wanting to work on things with her again. All right, I'm going to say something. There are no mistakes. You cannot choose wrong, right? Everything is a fucking lesson in the world. Everything. I know that sounds like crazy, but there's a blessing in disguise. If you chose, right? First of all, do not be a victim to your choices. I'm just going to be straight with that. If you chose to take her back, own that, and that's okay. If it doesn't work out, that's also okay. All it does is it's going to teach you more and more of where you're at in your journey and where you want to go moving forward, right? I don't know this woman. Things could work out. Most likely not if she hasn't done the work herself. Because with avoidant women, they have to do the work no matter how amazing you are. And again, that's a choice you guys make to stick around with those women. Again, it's not wrong. You can't, I want you guys to get out of the black and white thinking, this right, wrong, bad, good. And I personally get that, because if you are stuck in that abandonment wound, this anxious attachment, you most likely are living in the black and white of life, right? Oh no, I did something wrong. I'm not enough, right? No, there are no wrong choices. It's your life. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that shit. So, please just remember there are no wrong decisions or choices in your life. All it is a choice, and own it. And don't be a victim to your circumstances, because that's where a lot of people are living, is victimhood. And then it's like, why did this happen to me? Motherfucker, you chose it at some point. To be straight with you, we chose it. I also was up. I catch myself still, right? It's like, oh no, why did this happen to me? And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. Did I choose this? And the answer is always yes. You can always, always, always take some sort of responsibility in anything that happens, right? Even if it's like, well, I chose to allow her to treat me this way. Own that. And it's okay, right? Because if you're going to do that double whammy of feeling the shame and the guilt and the fear of blah, 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 that's just like a double-edged sword, right? Own it and move on. Make a better choice for yourself. Easier said than done, which I get. Oh, you're so welcome. You needed the raw truth. I'm dealing with a recent breakup where she is breadcrumbs to me and only texts me any advice. Well, wait a minute. If you guys broke up, why are you guys still talking? Yeah. I mean, if she's someone you want, if she's really worth it to you and you want her back, that's again, back to the choice. You need to choose to fully accept what comes with that. But if you guys broke up, usually breakups are for a good reason. And it comes back to, what choice do you want to make? Do you want to continue in that pattern with her? Or are you willing to deal with the pain and the whatever you're feeling with this breakup and actually take the steps to shift yourself and attract a better kind of woman? It just comes down to those two things. She won't say we are. She won't say we are what? That we're broken up? Oh. Well, what do you want, Tony? Tony Laverde? Love the name. I'm biased because my partner's named Tony. But what do you actually want, right? Do you want her? Do you fully choose her? And a lot of you don't actually know what you want if you are operating out of this anxious attachment wound, because you can't really know what you want when you're not regulated. Does that make sense? It's a hard one to hear. It's a very hard one to hear. Yeah, she doesn't think we are. Well, Tony, I'm going to be very direct with you. You're the leader in the situation. So if you want it, okay, I want it to work out. Well, I can't really say much without understanding the situation, but you could always DM me after this and I'm happy to kind of dig into it with you. Because I have to hop off at 7. I have a call. So, but she plays these games. Yeah. Again, ask yourself, are you willing to keep going at that rate with her playing these games? Because at some point she has to do the work. It's not just you, right? You can do the work for yourself. A lot of you, the mistake I see is men want to work with me to get her back and they're so focused on her. And I refuse to work with men like that, because I need you to do the work for you. Regardless if you stay with her or it's for the next one, it needs to be about you. Otherwise you will resent her forever. So I'm going to wrap it up because I got to hop off. So if you really related to this, it sounds like a lot of you are dealing with this and it hit you and blah, 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 and you know you've been stuck in this pattern, just DM me the word pattern and I'm happy to kind of tell you what's going on and what you can do or where to go from there. Of course, Tony, my pleasure. And yeah, I would say just DM me pattern if anything. Like if you're tired of the confusing emotional chaos, if you're stuck in this cycle, you don't know what to do, or you're realizing it's not just a woman problem, it's a you problem, it's a pattern problem, right? When am I live again? Good question. Listen, I kind of already answered you. I'm not going to guest you because I got to hop off and I got to keep it moving. I'm so sorry, but feel free to DM me pattern so I know that you were in this live. I'll prioritize those DMs, guys. So just pattern. DM me the word pattern and I'll know you came from this live. I don't know when I'll be live again. It's so random. I'm super feminine. So like some things are just very like da-di-da-di-da. So yeah, DM me the word pattern if this really sat well with you.